Go find some eggs, everybody.
No, I'm getting that one.
Wow. Yes. Okay. Pepperoni and cheese can have 11.
Mom, can I keep the basket in my room?
Hey, thank you.
Happy Easter. We are diapers on a plane.
I think the more like we do this, the more I realize like that stream, that God's flow is love and being kind and being good. And so sometimes, sometimes you'll get battered around and you'll have rough waters, but like it's God has a plan for all of us. Like it's a beautiful message.
Somebody would be in the right place, like this is to your point. It's like somebody would be in the right place at the right time so that God's work could progress forward. Moses could part the waters so that the Israelites could escape. And so God needed Moses to help the Israelites escape. What Christ was trying to teach through Moses was that you can have this. This is the kind of faith you can use and the kind of power you can have when we work together. Right? He didn't need Moses. He was trying to use Moses to show the people.
It's Deuteronomy 4:27. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. And there ye shall serve gods, and work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see nor hear nor eat nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
The world and well he's done for us, but then I feel like when you pray and you ask for like his help, it's a sign that he would know he'll help you, and it's always him that you go to first, because it's just like a sign when you pray for him for help or for someone else's help, and it's like you're always going to ask him first.
So he died on the cross.
Yes.
And then what did he do?
He was supposed to be resurrected.
He went into the cave where they put a big rock in front of it and put him on a bed, right? Where he died. And then what happened after 3 days?
He got resurrected.
God resurrected him.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody!
About 2 years ago, we started doing Easter a little bit different, where we were trying to emphasize what Easter is really about versus the Easter Bunny. When I was growing up, Easter was huge. My parents went all out, and we always got these massive Easter baskets. I mean, I'm talking this massive handle. I don't even remember what was in them, which really made me reflect, like, if I can't even remember what was in them, like, why were they so important? What traditions did you have growing up?
Oh boy. So my parents would always take me to like the local elementary school to do one of those big giant mass Easter egg hunts, right? And that's where I learned at a young age that you don't pick up the ones right in front of you. You run as far as you can and then start grabbing everything from a distance, because all the kids grabbed from the front. So I remember that, and then we'd go home, and because we had a family of 6 kids, we would have our own Easter egg hunts, like, for the next few days.
See, and I don't remember dyeing eggs, and I don't we never had Easter egg hunts. That was never something that we did, but we did have the Easter baskets. So we talked about this like way back when our first kids were born, and we were trying to decide what traditions we wanted to implement, what Easter traditions we wanted to implement in our own family. But it's been so long that we've now, kind of developed our own that we haven't really talked about.
Well, let's talk about our Easter traditions, because now that we're talking about how much different they are now, I don't know if they're that much different.
I remember specifically the twins' first Easter and how excited I was. So they were actually born 2 days before Easter, the year that they were born. And I remember going to the chapel on the chapel in the hospital on Easter, 2 days after they were born. And I just remember how special it was. And so I got them these cute little baskets. They were so little because they were barely a year, and they sat on the kitchen table with their little baskets. And I just remember they were just like, ooh, ooh, ooh. You know, they really had no idea. But for me as a parent, it was so much fun. And then that just continued. I just remember that so clearly. And so the next year, I wanted to feel that same, you know, sort of emotion. It was so grateful when they were born. You know, we had been married 10 years before we had children, and we were so thrilled and so happy. So I wanted to recreate just how magical that Easter was. Our main Easter traditions are every child gets a basket. That basket is then hid. Yeah. They have to find it. There's always one basket that is incredibly hard to find. We always dye Easter eggs, and then we always hide them. Mm-hmm. And we always have Easter dinner with
ham and au gratin potatoes, green beans. I think that's pretty standard in America.
Orange rolls. Orange rolls is a family recipe that we have that's on my side of the family, and that pretty much wraps up our Easter traditions. So 2 years ago, we really wanted to transition away from an Easter bunny Easter, and we wanted to transition into a Christ-centered Easter. And I was like, let's do away with the Easter baskets. But it had become such a staple that I remember you were like, no. We decided to make new Easter traditions in what we put in the baskets. So everything in the baskets we wanted to represent Christ.
Yeah. And so we cut back on like the chocolate Easter bunny. We stopped saying that the Easter bunny was hiding the eggs. They now know, and we may get some flack for that. They now know it's just mom and dad.
So we fill Easter eggs with some candy, with money, stickers, little toys, little squishies, like, you know, all sorts of little things. Yeah. But mostly candy.
I'll tell you one of our traditions. We save all the plastic eggs and we reuse them the next year. We buy a few more.
I can't imagine anybody who doesn't do that as an Easter tradition.
We never did it.
So something that has to do with like living water. Like we got our son, who really likes like camping and outdoorsy stuff, we got him like a water purification system.
Mm-hmm. Also got him his own cross necklace because he didn't have one.
Yeah.
And we've recently been getting back into the meaning of the cross, because we grew up in a religion that said you shouldn't have crosses, and I think they're a meaningful representation of our Savior. So our son got a necklace. Our two daughters the younger daughters got bracelets with beads on them with different colors. They were really cute.
And a cross.
And had a cross on it. And our oldest daughter got a delicate bracelet, like a little gold bracelet with a cross on it and her initial. And then Walter, our son who passed away, we got him a wooden he is risen egg. So just as a remembrance that we can always put on the shelf that reminds us that he'll be resurrected with our Savior. And so that's kind of meaningful for us with that. I did get some fun stuff. I got some of those little Find Jesus figurines.
Oh, those are always fun, yeah.
And so those all went in the eggs.
And those went in the eggs too.
They went in the eggs, but I wanted to hide them all around the house. We went to...
we like hiding things.
What was it, Charlie's Chicken?
Yeah, in Oklahoma.
In Oklahoma, we went to a Charlie's Chicken, and the restaurant had the same little Jesus figurines. And our kids just loved going around finding them all, and I thought that was really neat, and I thought it was cool that I got those figures for them. And it's kind of like, to me, that makes more sense than eggs.
Yeah.
Because find Jesus, right? I'm coming out of my cave and I'm feeling just fine, you know? The apostles and Mary, they all went to find him and he wasn't there, and then they found him, right? And I think that I want to introduce more traditions like that, right? Rather than a magical Easter bunny who lays chicken eggs.
So we always try and do some type of jewelry. Mm-hmm. anything that represents like
books. We got the children's books.
We have always gotten our children book. We got one, Good Morning God, for little Burrito. It's really cute. It's a little flip book. But books are always a great Easter tradition to get. We did last year, we got one of our children an Understanding Isaiah book, and she loved that. It's geared for children to understand Isaiah better. So that's always a good idea. Anything that represents putting on, the armor of God. Fish is always a big one.
Right.
We've done fish in the past where we bought these little wooden fish that spelled out the name Jesus in them, because obviously the fish and the loaves and fishes, bread.
I've been seeing more and more like not nativity scenes, but actually little like Easter scenes with like the cave and figures and stuff, which I thought was neat.
Yeah. I really like the idea of giving our kids something that's empty, because we've really reflected the past few years. Like sometimes when you don't have something, you realize what you really needed all along, and who can help fill that emptiness and what that brings a promise of.
Well, I'm just thinking, speaking of traditions, I think as we put our focus more on Jesus, I part of the reason we're doing this is because I'm interested to see what next year, if we're going to do this again and talk about our Easter traditions, because I want them to change, grow. And so, we can't think of anything now, but we'll think of something next year. And if you're watching this, what kind of traditions do you have to put the focus on Jesus? We're very interested to find out, so we can incorporate those for our kids.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Okay, what is that one?
It says Mom.
Oh.
Say M-O-M.
Oh.
I'm going on the way!
Wow! Poop is great. Okay.